Hey guys, welcome to the Hot Take with Chrissy. Tonight we're going to do a follow-up to yesterday's story about a local head coach who was released from his coaching duties at FPC High School. And we're going to talk about a couple other things about administration and different things that have been sent to us. We're going to go through all of that today. So Flagler Palm Coast football coach Daniel Fish was relieved of his coaching duties, and I'm going to read a little bit of this article that was from the Palm Coast Observer. It says that he was relieved of his head coach football duties, and it was 2 months after the Bulldogs have gone 9-2 in advance to the state playoffs. Flagler County released a statement Tuesday morning regarding this decision without including any explanation as to why he was dismissed from the football team. Administration met with Fish earlier this morning regarding his current status. At this time, he is no longer head coach of Flagler Palm Coast High School football. However, he remains as a certified instructor within the Flagler schools, the statement read. In a text to the Observer Tuesday morning, Fish says, "I was given no explanation as to why I'm not the head football coach anymore, and I was reassigned as a teacher." FPC principal Bobby Bozardet has not yet responded to phone calls or text messages per the Observer. In response to public records request from the Observer regarding Fish's status as FPC football coach, Flagler School said in an email that documents that have requested were created in furtherance of an ongoing investigation and are currently confidential, exempt from disclosure under the Public Records Act. Fish said in a text message that the football program is not under investigation. I'm not quite sure what all that means, but we're going to get into it. And a small group of football players stood on the side of the road today after school in protest of this, holding up signs that say we need transparency, FPC football against everybody, and we want Coach Fish back. So I guess this is really interesting.
Well, things seem to be blowing up a little bit. What's wonderful is that the Flagler Voice podcast studio, where we're at right now, offers free speech for people to come on and say what they want. And the beautiful thing about this, in my opinion, is that we're actually reaching enough people through our podcasts and stuff that we can get good information out to the local Flagler County population. Because a lot of people don't know what's going on with various things. And this issue here, again, I don't know. I've never met and don't know Coach Fish. I've got no opinion on him because I have nobody in the football league, nothing. Only what I hear. And in that article that you just read from the Observer, it said that Coach Fish mentioned that the football team is not under investigation. That's because he's under investigation.
Right. There's an investigation of some sort going on, which is odd, right? It's so, just like you don't know why you were let go from the football program, but they're coming after you. There's so many questions.
Yeah, who's the they?
And the fact that the administration's not following up with anything more other than it's an open investigation.
Well, they can't comment if it is an open investigation, but an open investigation of what or of who. And
do you think that's normal to let somebody go without a full investigation being concluded? Like, do you have to have preliminary findings to say he was let go because?
Well, the thing is, he wasn't let go. He was transferred.
As a football coach.
Yes, but that's
reassigned as a teacher is what it said. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which he is a teacher. He taught weightlifting, right?
Right.
So he's just been reassigned. He hasn't been fired from teaching.
No.
So
just not
so there's an ongoing investigation into something or someone. Obviously, potentially.
It really didn't answer anything.
He said it's not the football team. He said that the football team is not under investigation. Well, that
just him then?
Well, he's sort of the subject of the whole conversation. So I'm going to make an assumption.
Yeah.
Assumed that it's him that's under investigation. I don't know. However, it's very possible that he was. This is my opinion. I have no, I don't know the guy, don't know any of it, but from listening to it, it seems to me that he's been transferred into a PE coach. You said a PE teaching rather.
Yeah, something of that sort.
So
Reassigned.
reassigned, pending the outcome of the investigation is my guess.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, if he has done something, and I don't know, that if he has done something that might warrant termination completely, then they'll fire him.
Well, of him being a coach anyways, I'm sure he's going to want to get back to coaching. I don't know if he's going to want to stay there. That's up to him, if they keep him as a PE coach for a while or whatever he's doing, reassignment.
Yeah, and I would too. If I was a coach, that would be my main thing. But I'm really wondering, we're hearing so many things from different comments and so forth. I know,
isn't it crazy?
So I'm wondering if the story is bigger than Coach Fish himself.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I have gotten several DMs, emails, text messages, and we've gotten a lot of stuff over the last several days when we're talking about this. And I got one today that kind of got me in the gut, and it was just because of what was said in it that I was because of there's been so many people. I actually took a post off today because somebody threatened somebody on one of the posts that I reposted, and we're not condoning violence at all. We're not condoning threats. This is ridiculous, and we've never mentioned anyone specifically by name or going attacking anybody of that sort.
Of the general public. All we've done is read articles about
or share what people are saying to us.
And share what other people are saying.
And that's what a podcast kind of is. It's your opinion. It's what you're talking about.
Well, this is all opinion.
Yeah.
We don't have any facts in front of us. We're not in the school administration. We're no part of the school, actually. Right. I don't have any kids in school.
So we're just going by what people tell us. Experiences.
Right. And passing on what people are telling us and then adding possibly our opinion in. But until facts come out, which is what we're waiting for.
And it probably will be a while before those come because, school investigations take quite a bit of time.
Yeah, well, it has to be the conclusion of whatever investigation they have before it comes out. I really feel sorry for Flagler County because these sorts of things seem to just rise to the surface all over the place all of the time. It's like you can't just sit back and enjoy everything around because something gets messed up somewhere, and it's you got that in politics, you got that in local government, you got that in local staff, you have that going on with this coach situation, and I've never been. I don't think I've ever even been inside Flagler Palm Coast High School other than to go to the home show. So I've never really been inside of it, but you hear things like, and I have no idea whether this is true or not. So I'm just passing along rumors and hearsay right now, but that there was a hazing incident a couple of years ago that involved, some kid in a locker room being
this one long message it talked about it's called the broom incident allegedly, and that's how it was put, and that it was never really discussed, and I allegedly from that whatever that was in that message. But I was physically there. My son played for football back in 2023. This was Coach Fish's first year, and I remember an incident taking place in the boys' locker room. Allegedly, there was no coaches in there that witnessed this. And then all we were told after this incident, when I pulled up, I did see the sheriffs there and everybody there and the coach standing outside and them interviewing kids when I picked up my son from school. The next thing I knew, several kids were suspended for the remainder of the season. But then they were allowed to go into sports right after that. So we have winter sports then, which are several. You've got wrestling, weightlifting, and a few other ones, lacrosse and different ones. So these kids that were involved in this hazing, from what all of us were told at that time, were suspended, and we didn't see them for the rest of the year, but then we saw them again for the winter sports. So this was never mentioned in an article. Several people have come to me and said, hey, we need to talk about this. Why was this not mentioned? Why weren't we talking about it? And I'm sure because minors were involved, maybe that had something to do with it. but several people have come to me saying, hey, we probably should have mentioned that. Something should have been brought up about it. And what did go on? Like I said, I don't know.
Well, I did just before the show.
I just know from what I saw.
Yeah, just before the show, I did a quick search online and nothing came up. So I don't know anything. Obviously, I don't know anything about this incident.
Which is crazy. Does that normally not be talked about at all? Especially if kids were actually suspended.
Well,
from
I would think that if this actually happened,
yeah,
and you were there and saw police, but
yeah,
but you don't know.
Oh,
did the police come to you and say anything?
No,
yeah,
no.
So,
I'm going by what I physically saw, where the players weren't there for the rest of the season and were playing in our games.
Right, but but the why?
But the why was always there, and nobody ever discussed it. And
right.
Yeah, and so many people have reached out to me though to mention that because it was shoved under the rug, and they want to know why.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the kid's shirt transparency, or the kid's poster. We're not being transparent, just like what kind of Coach Fish. I mean, I kind of feel bad that he got let go from the coaching position, but doesn't really know why.
Well, there's a lot of swirling stuff around this, and it's going to take, like you said earlier, it's going to take some time for it all to filter out so we can get down to what the actual truth is. But they're not going to say anything during an investigation anyway.
No.
Because it could interfere with the investigation. So I don't blame them for not putting out a statement, he did, she did, whatever kind of deal.
And they know that people want to know what's going on. I mean, they're well aware now that people want to know and want to have some answers.
Oh, of course.
To go with
of
some of
course.
this.
But they can't. Well, an investigation is going on.
Right.
And that's, I mean, no matter where you are, if there's an investigation going, everybody's mouth is shut until the investigation is over, so that they don't interfere with whatever without the outcome of an investigation might be. So I understand that. What I don't really understand, though, is it seems like there's been a lot of things, from what I've been hearing, again, I have no idea.
From
but
the emails and posts.
Yeah.
And there was a lot
unbelievable amounts of stuff.
Alleged a lot of stuff. And going back to this message that I received, because I've received a couple messages from people that are inside, but they're afraid of retaliation, getting fired. And I completely understand that. But they want to get it out. Like in here, I'm going to break up some of this so it's not so obvious of who it might be. So I broke it up into pieces.
Well, you got several of them, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting pieces from different ones.
Like quotes here, terrified of the administration here. I'm scared to talk about it. So many people want to talk to you. Just this opening with that is like, what is this about? You know, like if you're fearing where you work and stuff and it feels like that, like I'm sorry, like I feel bad for them and I don't even know these people, and this is all alleged. This is all alleged, but please keep me anonymous in fear of my job. So the one thing that we just talked about was this alleged hazing incident and the bullying group that we mentioned earlier, the certain group, these people know about this certain group. And if you're a school and you're aware of this group and people in your school are aware of the group, shouldn't it be addressed? Because in particular, they said this one lady who, talk about so many people harassed so many people. This one lady in particular who's part of that group that you don't even have to mention their name. We know who they are.
Well, didn't a post get removed from last night's show because people were actually threatening people?
It's this morning too. Well, two now. They were actually having kids threaten their kids and having them sending threatening things to the adults, the parents. And it's like I said, we're not specifically saying the names of people going after anybody. We're saying a group because that's what it is. But these are things that I've been through as well as other people. And so many people are saying, thank you for saying something about it, because so many people know about it, but nobody's dealing with it. And if you know at the school what's going on, people at the school obviously know about the same group. What do you think about that? It's continuing to happen. This is going on for you, seen almost a year now with me in particular.
Well, I'm just finding out about all this stuff, but
it's crazy.
But what I really think is that, maybe you have whistleblower status now.
When I got this email, I thought of Trump right away. And I was like, dang, I feel like I'm getting whistleblower stuff. But there so many people, you're the voice of stuff that needs to be said that's not being said. And I hate that I'm put in that position, but if people are really fearing about certain things and getting harassed and stuff like we are, why can't we talk about it? Why can't it be out there? And if it's this known, somebody needs to do something on the other side.
Right.
It needs to be
Right.
addressed. We're talking about too in here certain sports that they're alleging that people have kids come in that live in different areas, but use addresses of some of the coaches to be able to play, allegedly.
So let me get clarified on that a little
Yeah.
bit. So there's kids from outside of Flagler County.
Yeah.
So outside of the school district.
And apparently in this article, they say and claim allegedly that it was actually posted in another article. They can send me the proof, and they will, that a parent that is at a current sport at FPC is using an address of one of the coaches so they're able to be eligible to play. Whether allegedly they've got proof of it. They said they're going to send it in. I don't know about that. What do you think about that?
I think if that's a real thing, then it needs to be brought out. That I mean, I would feel bad for the student if it's reality, but it's the adults that know better. So if that's actually happening, then that kind of thing has to be brought out and put to sleep.
Yeah, because it's not fair to everybody
To
else
the
who's
local-
playing. It's who's playing by the rules, though, too. You
Right,
know.
right. Now I understand, maybe coaches going out and what do you call it, scouting people from different areas, but they would have to move here and have their own address and everything in order to
Be eligible
be
to
eligible
do
for it.
correct.
Right. Yeah.
With my son, he's online school, but he can go to, since we're zoned for FPC, he can go to FPC. The reason that we went and played football somewhere else, we went out and drove, but he had to come back to FPC for weightlifting because we were zoned for that school, and the other school didn't offer weightlifting. So, but we're playing by the rules.
Yeah.
They didn't offer that. We would have stayed there and done that, but we also live in this area. So, online's a little different, but to be living in St. Johns County or Jacksonville or something, to drive all the way down here while you're using a coach's address, allegedly, I don't know.
That's not whoever it is that wrote that to you. I hope they send you the article.
No, I told them. I said they said tomorrow when they get back in, they're gonna send it to me,
Awesome.
so I can actually have proof of all of this. They said that allegedly today also kids wear shirts that basically protesting certain people in administration. Obviously, what happened with Coach Fish, and that was allegedly too.
Wasn't there a picture in some article?
Oh, that was a protest that was done after school. There was like 4 or 5 kids in that article. Allegedly, they were told today if they actually protested like they wanted to do during second or third period, they're going to have a walkout. That allegedly administration told them that they would be expelled.
Well,
in the same article from what I was sent in this message.
I agree that, during school time.
Well, half of those kids, they would be like, they didn't even know who Coach Fish probably was or have anything to do with the pro. They probably just wanted to go out and get some fresh air.
Probably, but during school time, you can't do it. Now, after school, knock yourself out.
Where that picture of I think 5 kids were in it. So
and what were they protesting?
They're protesting that there's no transparency with this administration telling them what's going on, why Coach Fish was let go of being the coach of.
Well, there is transparency in reality. I mean, the transparency is there's an investigation going on, so they can't say anything. That's as transparent as you can be, I would think.
And I think because Coach Fish put it in that article before that he, from Friday, that he was let go and he didn't know why, I think a lot of the kids and him, even himself, they're left at what the heck is going on?
Yeah, like I said in the previous podcast, it would have been better to keep his mouth shut, rather than going on to, a newspaper.
Well, that's a problem, though. In high school when the kids talk and stuff like this happens.
No, I meant the coach himself. He shouldn't have.
No, the Observer said he texted them to let them know how today's meeting went, which I don't know if I would.
No, I mean yesterday when he texted and said, I don't know why I'm being, you know what, just say nothing. And don't start controversy. But he did, and they responded, and the schools responded, and we're talking about it.
Yeah. But the other thing was, in one of the posts today that were on Facebook, allegedly, it says here, and I'm going to quote it, and I won't use this language most, but it says bogus ass restraining orders and bogus ass restraining orders and no trespassing orders are placed on parents that have filed complaints regarding teachers or coaches at this school. The children are forced to go to other schools so we can participate as parents in seeing their sports. I thought that was interesting because that's a good way to silence you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good way to silence you. Allegedly.
I mean, I
I wonder how many no trespassings and restraining orders or other things that might be going on at the school that
does an enforcement of a, I have no answer to this, but does the enforcement of a trespass or the enforcement of a restraining order have to go before a judge?
No. Somebody from administration at the local administration in the school put it on them.
But it didn't need a court order to be done?
No. And according to them, there's no proof that anyone's been convicted of a crime, and there's no proof that anything happened on campus because nothing did. So how can you no trespass somebody from a school that nothing happened on and they haven't been convicted of anything? You're just going to go by alleged from what they're claiming.
Seems to me.
Exactly.
Seems to me something's wrong with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean.
And I love this underneath it. Something seems fishy about this. No
fishy.
pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, that, I mean.
That's a good way to silence somebody.
But if I was trespassed from a school and I did nothing wrong and nothing at the school and all of that kind of thing.
After complaining.
Again, if it were me.
Allegedly.
That had an issue and I was trespassed but had no, I opened my mouth and said something and they trespassed me because I said something, I would be in court. I would fight it because rather than having to take my kids and go to some other school somewhere or whatever, I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't sit back and let.
Do you know how many people are probably at that school that have been charged with something or something has gone wrong that are allowed to roam freely throughout that school, but because they didn't complain, certain people are being singled out because they had an issue with somebody there? Does that seem right?
No, I don't know anything about that, but no, it doesn't.
If
right. That's what's going on, no, of course not.
Exactly. But if you're allowed to get away with it and nobody is going to court to fight you for it, I don't know. What do you think? Do you know how many people are gonna have to go to court?
Well, then it's a class action suit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Class action suit.
It just seems like there's a lot of stuff that's not on the up and up here.
Yeah, with the incredible number of emails and texts and all of that have been received since yesterday.
Since yesterday alone, I've been getting this stuff since Friday.
Yeah, it there's smoke. So where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly.
And
just like a hazing incident that happened a year and a half ago, they bring up a certain point.
Yeah.
How some stuff, that's a huge one to kind of get shoved under the rug. I mean, if you have several kids that are getting not allowed to play a certain sport and then all of a sudden it's like moving on, people are going to have questions.
Yeah, that should be answered.
And that's just one of many instances that are in this alleged email. Well,
the email's not alleged. The information.
The information is what I'm saying. So, it's really interesting what is going to probably unfold the next few weeks, several months. I don't know. And I really hope Coach Fish is not a pawn in all this. I really do hope, because he came in a little bit unexperienced just because he coached at a smaller school. I mean, you're going from, I believe, a 1A school to a 4A school where you have a freshman team, a regular varsity team, and a JV team, and he did very well on the schedule wise. With 9-2, that's actually very well, and I'm hoping that he
and that playoff game. Basically, he
got screwed out of.
Yeah.
We're going to be honest here. And And I'm just hoping that because of his inexperience, he got taken advantage of, or some things maybe slipped, like in administration, he's kind of getting the fall for that. And I'm hoping that's not the case. I don't know though, because it seems like it's such a bigger thing from everything that we've gotten. And it's not just this school. I've gotten stuff from Volusia County parents. I've gotten stuff from St. Johns County parents. I've gotten stuff from other people around this area. And it doesn't seem to be just one school that stuff's going on at, which is a bigger picture as a whole.
Well,
and it's not just one program either. We're not talking about just football. We're talking about, I've had people from cheerleading to soccer to, the only one I don't have is baseball and softball, but, and golf. But, I've had a lot of people from different sports say, hey, I left that school because of basketball. I left that school because of this. And it seems like a bigger thing. That's going on.
Yeah. Well, like we said, where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and
there seems to be a bonfire somewhere up in here.
Because there's a lot of smoke. It could be a nuclear weapon, maybe. I don't know. We're in a nuclear cloud. It's.
And also in this email, they're talking about a lot of the administration having ties to school boards and coaching staff, and a lot of breakdowns.
Well, there's a lot of nepotism in Flagler County.
I've learned that
in various levels of government.
Which we're not.
You
think we're that small of a city anymore?
Well, we're growing.
Yeah.
But we didn't start off big, so.
But don't you think the good old boys will be shuffled out soon? Or the dynamic should change a little bit?
They might die out from age. But, I don't know.
That's like when I go to Palaca, it's the same thing. It's like everybody knows everybody over there. But I think we've superseded that by now in the last 2 years with all the people here,
But when you have people entrenched, for years, like I said, they have to age out. And I think it's starting to happen. I think, there's a lot of people. We're 106,000 people in and
that's what I'm saying, to still have like these old systems of like nepotism, like you said.
Yeah, well. Time for that to burn out and go away.
I know.
And transparency to take place and issues to be dealt with and then put to sleep instead of just brushed under the rug and stuff. So
I wonder if you're under investigation, can you get another job as a coach somewhere else? Or do you have to wait till that clears out? The thing is, would somebody
hire somebody that's under investigation? I mean, if it is he that's under investigation, would he be hired?
I don't think that's fair to him. Because
it's not fair to him.
No, it's not at all. And I don't think it's fair to him at all.
No.
To have to sit here and just be like every day, what's going on, and I can't coach and no one's giving me a reason why.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's not fair to Coach Fish.
It's not fair to the kids either.
To the kids, they're circling around trying to figure out what's going on.
There are some kids that really appreciated his coaching style and that were on the sidewalks today protesting for him. And
I mean, in the reality
it's not fair to kids in general. When kids are suffering or being called garbage, or just like we talked about the other day, certain things happening, it's not fair to the children as a whole. And people forget that, like when they go and threaten their parents, or when they go and threaten the kids at school or their friends, they need to look at the bigger picture. It has effects on everybody, and the kids are the most important. And right now, there's so many people that aren't thinking about the kids as a general.
Well,
or staff, apparently, allegedly.
Yeah, well, you got.
That's the third stuff that I've gotten from inside that school.
And we've got stuff from the other schools as well.
I've got stuff from the other schools as well.
Yeah,
and
so the issue's bigger than Coach Fish. Well, until we have more information coming out, I think that
it's going to be interesting.
There's really, I think a lot of these people need to get together and stand up.
Yep.
Get themselves under whistleblower status. Then they, I mean, honestly.
When I saw this message today, I thought of that right away. I'm like, why are you sending this to me? Why don't you? But then in fear, they're terrified for their job
and there's probably
to go against the grain.
Right, and then they have to look up. If it goes through coaches and then administrators and then I don't know, principals, superintendent, I don't know, but who do you go to that would be above the fray? And
well, I know, and in this situation in administration, you can't really go higher up because apparently administration has affiliates at the school board level. which is what people allege in this letter is an issue. And I didn't know about that until this was brought to my attention
I don't know where
today.
you'd bring it up to that it wouldn't fall back on you.
Exactly. Or
I feel bad for these people.
I do too, and these kids
and the
especially.
kids, yeah, because they're the ones that are in the end suffering from it. Yeah.
So, well, that being said, hopefully everyone, you have a great night, and stay tuned for our next podcast on Thursday night.
See you later.